You do not have to chase what is already yours. Stop begging reality to shift. It will never move until you move, not with your body, but with your mind. Your reality is not built on effort. It is built on assumption. The question is not, how will I get it? The question is, do I know that it's already mine? Because when you know something is yours, you stop waiting, you stop hoping, you start being, and in being, the world bends. Your desire is not foolish. It is not a mistake. It is not too big for you. It is the whisper of the unseen letting you know what is already stored for you. The moment you desired it, it existed. The only distance between you and its manifestation is the story you tell yourself. The universe does not delay, it simply reflects. So if you believe you must struggle, delay will show up. If you believe it takes years, years will appear. If you believe it's already yours, you will be surprised by how fast it arrives. The key is not in striving, it is in assuming. You must assume it now. You must walk in that new identity. Don't wait for the money to feel wealthy. Don't wait for the relationship to feel loved. Don't wait for the recognition to feel confident. Feel it now, and the universe has no choice but to mirror it back. But this is not arrogance. It is alignment. You were not placed here to beg. You are placed here to declare. Speak as the one who has it, move as the one who holds it, live as the one who receives it. Let the world catch up to the truth you now embody. It's time to act as if the universe delivers everything you desire, because it does. When you act as if it's already yours, the unseen hand of life rushes in to make it so. So be still, know it is done, and act like it's already yours. Whatever you assume to be true is faithfully reflected in your external world. Life does not respond to your hopes. It does not obey your wishes. It does not cater to your desperate cries or even your hard work if your inner assumption is still lack. Life, in its mystery and brilliance, is a mirror, one that reflects not the surface of your effort, but the depth of your belief. It is not about what you say you want. It is about what you assume to be already true. You may wish to be wealthy, but if you assume that money is hard to come by, that you are always just scraping by, then life will mirror that belief. You may long for love, but if you assume that people always leave, that you are hard to love, then your relationships will bend to that silent expectation. The outer world does not act independently of your inner world. They are not two, they are one. The power lies not in forcing life to change, but in assuming that it already has. When you accept a new truth within, when you assume the role of the one who already possesses what they desire, something profound begins to unfold. You no longer operate from desire, you operate from fulfillment. And from that fulfillment, life takes shape. Assumption is not pretending, it is not wishful thinking, it is claiming a new identity with complete confidence that it is already done. When you assume, you shift. You align your feelings, thoughts, and actions with the state you desire to experience. And in that alignment, the world begins to transform, not because you fought for it, but because you believed it first. Look around you. Everything you see is a result of past assumptions. The people in your life, the circumstances you face, the amount of peace or chaos you encounter, they all correspond to what you have long accepted as true. If you say, nothing ever works out for me, and assume that life is against you, then it must reflect that. But the moment you assume differently, the mirror shifts. That is the divine law. This is why changing your life begins with changing your assumption. Not your effort, not your conditions, but your inner truth. Assume you are loved, assume you are chosen, assume you are healthy, free, successful, and hold to it even when the outer world contradicts it, because it must for a time. There is always a short delay while the outer world adjusts to your new inner stance. But hold firm, persist in the assumption. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. And what you are is defined by what you assume. If you walk around believing the world is kind to you, that things work in your favor, that you are guided and protected, then life cannot help but echo that belief. That is the power you carry. But most people go the other way. They see a condition, accept it, and assume it must always be so. They allow the outer world to determine their inner state, never realizing that they hold the lever of change within their own mind. The key is to reverse this, to use the inner world as the origin and let the outer world catch up. So what do you assume about yourself, about others, about the world? That is the silent prayer you offer every day. It is the vibration you carry. And the universe, being flawless in its fidelity, responds with perfect accuracy. It is not partial, it is not biased, it simply mirrors. Your desires are not random. They are not mere impulses of the flesh or fleeting fantasies of a restless mind. They are sacred signals, inner whispers from the deeper part of you, the part connected to the infinite, the unseen source of all creation. Every true desire, the kind that returns again and again, regardless of time or circumstance, is a message. It is divine instruction. It is the infinite within you showing you what you are meant to experience, express, or become. Desire is not to be feared, dismissed, or ignored. To suppress your desires is to silence the very voice that is trying to guide you. It is to turn away from the direction your soul longs to take. The world may have taught you to question your desires, to label them as selfish, unrealistic, or dangerous. But the truth is this: the real danger lies in denying them. When you turn your back on desire, you turn your back on the very life you were born to live. The desire within you is not random, because it is not placed there by the world. It is placed there by the essence of life itself. It is the seed of fulfillment. No two people have the exact same desires, because no two souls carry the same mission, the same light, the same story. What calls to your heart, what stirs your spirit, is meant for you. It is your map. It is how the infinite guides you without force, through feeling. You may think you chose your desires, but in truth they chose you. They are invitations. Invitations to rise into a higher state of being, to become the person who lives in alignment with that vision. That is why desire is not just about getting something, it is about becoming someone. The moment you honor the desire, you begin to expand. You stretch beyond your current self and open to the possibility of who you truly are. But if you dismiss your desire as impossible, if you view it through the lens of logic or fear, you cut off that divine current. You resist your own expansion. That is why so many feel stuck, not because life has stopped moving, but because they have stopped listening. They ignore the gentle call of their heart in favor of the loud opinions of the world. And when you follow it, even when you don't know how it will unfold, something sacred happens. Doors open. Opportunities arise. People, resources, and ideas begin to move into place. Not because you force them to, but because you align with the current of your true path. That alignment is magnetic. It draws to you everything you need to fulfill the vision you hold. Do not confuse shallow wants with deep desires. The former are fleeting and come from comparison or ego. But true desire, the kind that lives in your bones, the kind that stirs emotion when you imagine it, that is spiritual, it is pure, it is eternal, It does not fade with time, because it is time calling you forward. To honor your desire is to honor the divine within you. It is to say, I trust the voice that speaks softly yet clearly. I will follow it even when I do not see the full path ahead. And when you do, when you walk in faith with that desire in your heart, you find that life meets you there. It supports you, not because you demanded it, but because you dared to believe in what was placed inside of you for a reason. Never be ashamed of what you long for. That longing is sacred. To deny your desire is to deny the voice of God within you. But to embrace it is to begin the journey of becoming who you are always meant to be. You are not here to wait for the world to hand you your future. You are not a beggar standing at the gate of life, hoping for a crumb of possibility. You are the creator. And the sacred tool of your creation is imagination. It is not a childish game or a meaningless escape. It is the secret door, the doorway through which all things are born. Every invention, every masterpiece, every transformation in the world first appeared in the unseen realm of imagination. That is where the real work begins. Most people look at the world as if it has power over them. They observe, they react, and they believe they must adjust to what already is. But creation does not work that way. The outer world is the echo. The inner world is the cause. When you imagine, you do not fantasize, you form. You begin to mold substance from the invisible. You call into being that which has not yet appeared. You are not escaping reality, you are creating the next one. Imagination is divine. It is not bound by time, circumstance, or history. It doesn't care where you are or what has happened to you. The moment you step into imagination, you step into your true power. You step into the position of the one who decides. It is in imagination that you begin to embody a new state. You see yourself as already healed, already chosen, already abundant. And when you do this, you shift your identity. And once your identity shifts, the world must catch up. That is the key most miss. You do not receive what you desire simply because you want it. You receive it because you become the one who already has it. And imagination is how you rehearse that becoming. It is how you enter the scene before the curtain rises. It is how you train your mind, your body, and your emotions to dwell in a new truth. When you imagine, do it vividly. See the world through your new self's eyes. Feel the joy, the peace, the confidence. Feel what it's like to live in the answered prayer. Let it become so natural, so familiar, that when it finally appears in the world around you, it feels ordinary, because you've already lived it 1,000 times within. Do not wait for a sign. Imagination is the sign. It is the first evidence of things unseen. It is the first movement of creation. And it is always available to you. No one can take it from you. No condition can limit it. You may be in a small room, but in your imagination you can travel anywhere, speak with anyone, create anything. That is power. And the one who learns to live there, to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled, becomes unstoppable. You must understand, the world you see is not fixed, it is not final. It bends to your inner conviction. And that conviction is built in imagination. If you keep replaying your fears, your lack, your disappointments, then you are imagining failure, and life will mirror that. But if you dare to imagine beauty, success, harmony, if you live there, then the world will be shaped in that image. Imagination is the seed, reality is the harvest. What are you planting? You are not meant to wait. You are meant to create. And every time you close your eyes and imagine with intention, you are stepping through the secret door. A door that leads not to escape, but to embodiment. Not to fantasy, but to fulfillment. Use it, honor it, live by it. Because once you know who you are in imagination, the world has no choice but to rise to meet that vision. Feeling is the secret. It is the spark that ignites the invisible into the visible. You may speak affirmations all day, you may picture beautiful things in your mind, but unless you feel them to be real, unless you enter into the state of the wish fulfilled, you have not moved. For it is not thought alone that creates. It is thought felt, thought saturated with emotion, that manifests into form. Your outer world does not respond to your words, it responds to your inner atmosphere. That atmosphere is shaped by feeling. What are you dwelling in emotionally? What is the dominant tone of your inner life? That tone is the blueprint. That vibration becomes the mold through which your life is cast. If you live in worry, life will give you more to worry about. If you dwell in lack, life reflects that lack. But if you live in the feeling of abundance, if you walk as though it is already yours, life has no choice but to mirror that conviction. To feel is to accept. To feel something is real is to embody it. And the moment you feel it genuinely, deeply, it begins to move toward you, or rather you move into alignment with it. This is not magic, it is law. The law of life responds to your inner state, not your outer actions. So many chase the world hoping to make something happen, while ignoring the only place true creation occurs: within. The key is this: you must feel now as you would feel then. The future you seek is not in the future, it exists now, in your imagination, and your job is to enter its feeling. Ask yourself, if it were already done, how would I feel? Then dwell there, breathe there, sleep in that state, speak from that place, walk through life carrying that inner certainty, and you will find that life rearranges itself to match your inner world. There is no power in pretending without feeling. Going through the motions will not suffice. Life does not respond to appearances, it responds to essence. And essence is carried in emotion. When you enter a room, people can sense who you are, not because of your clothes or your words, but because of the vibration you bring. The universe operates the same way. It is not fooled by surface. It listens to the frequency you are tuned to. This is why imagination must always be coupled with emotion. When you visualize, do not merely see, feel. Imagine the joy of having it, the peace of knowing it is done, the confidence of already being that version of yourself. Let your entire body respond, let your breath change, let your heart open. Then you are no longer imagining as if. You are living it inwardly. And that inner life draws the outer form like iron to a magnet. There is no effort in this, only willingness. Willingness to feel, to believe, to surrender to the truth of your inner world. You don't force emotion, you allow it. You lean into it. You sit quietly and invite it in. This is why stillness matters. In stillness, you can listen, you can feel, you can shift. Feeling is not weakness. It is the most powerful tool you have. It is not something to control or suppress. It is the language of creation. To master your life, master your inner atmosphere. Tend to it like a sacred fire. Let it burn with the warmth of fulfilled dreams, not the cold ash of doubt. When the moment you feel it to be real, you give it life. And once it has life within, it must find expression without. So ask yourself again and again, how would I feel if I already had it? Then go there and stay there. Because what you feel now becomes what you live next. Doubt is not harmless. It is not passive. Doubt is the thief of your manifestation. It stands at the doorway of your desire and shuts the gate each time you begin to walk through. Every time you entertain disbelief, every time you say to yourself, "What if it doesn't happen?" you are choosing to delay that which is already yours in the unseen. You are telling the universe, "I am not yet ready to receive." And the universe, in perfect obedience, echoes back your hesitation. The truth is simple. The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you believe, what you accept as true. And belief is not just a passing thought. It is a persistent acceptance, a steady, unwavering assumption. Doubt interrupts that flow. It pulls you out of alignment. And though your desire may still be alive within you, your disbelief puts it on pause. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up each day to check if it's growing. You water it, you nourish it, and you trust the process. But many treat their desires differently. They imagine for a few moments, then pull back and question it. Is it working? Is it coming? What if nothing happens? In that moment, they dig up the seed, they disturb the soil of faith with the claws of fear, and the process begins again. This is why consistency is everything. Not effort, consistency. A quiet, settled knowing that what you have imagined, what you have felt, what you have accepted inwardly is already taking form. Even if you do not yet see it, even if there is no sign, especially then, for the invisible is always formed before the visible. And your work is to hold to the vision, not occasionally, but constantly. Doubt is a form of forgetting. It is forgetting who you are and how creation works. It is falling back into the illusion that you are separate from your desire, that you must earn it, chase it, or prove yourself worthy of it. But you were never meant to strive. You were meant to assume, to know, to live in the end, and let life follow. You must treat your assumption like truth, as sure as the sun rises, as certain as the tide returns. Not because of blind optimism, but because you understand the law. Life mirrors what you persistently hold as real. And nothing delays creation more than a divided mind. One day you believe, the next day you question. 1 hour you feel it, the next you fear it slipping away. That fluctuation sends a mixed signal, and confusion cannot manifest clarity. Faith is not loud, it is quiet, steady, sure. It does not beg for evidence, it becomes the evidence. And when doubt arises, as it will, you must meet it with remembrance. This is already mine. I do not chase, I choose. I do not beg, I believe. Speak to your inner world the way a master speaks to the wind, with confidence, not desperation. Doubt only has power if you feed it. Stop rehearsing your fears. Stop retelling the story of delay, of disappointment, of things not working out. That story is not sacred. That story is not your truth. The more you repeat it, the more you give life to the very thing you wish to avoid. If you would only stand still within the feeling of certainty, even for a short time, you would see just how quickly life responds. But most people cannot stand still. They move with their fear, not with their faith. They chase when they should rest. They worry when they should assume. And so their desire remains on hold, not denied, just delayed. So choose today to stop doubting, to stop hesitating, to stop questioning the process every time you cannot see the outcome. What you have accepted in your imagination is already real. It is simply seeking the path to emerge. Hold the state. Feel the end. Refuse to let doubt speak louder than truth. Because the moment you stop doubting, the delay dissolves. and the door that was always open is finally walked through. You must begin to act, not in pretense, but in truth, as the one who already has. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. For your world is not waiting to grant you your desire. It is waiting for you to embody the version of yourself who lives in the end. The one who no longer asks when or how, but simply is. That self, that version of you already exists. And your only task is to step into it. Creation is finished. What you desire is already present in the invisible. And the way you bring it into form is not through striving, but through identification. You must claim it, wear it, become it. When you do, reality has no choice but to catch up. Life is not random, it is responsive. It bends and shifts to match your inner stance. And the stance of having is very different from the posture of waiting. To act as the one who already has is to move from faith, not from need. It is to speak words that carry the tone of fulfillment. It is to think from the end, not of the end. When you imagine a scene, feel it through the eyes of the one who has already received. Let the inner dialogue reflect that shift. I am, not I hope to be. It is done, not someday may be. Your imagination must stop being a place of longing and become a place of dwelling. When you walk through life in this state, the world mirrors it. People treat you differently. Opportunities flow without effort. Circumstances reshape themselves to match your frequency. Not because the external world is magical, but because your inner world is magnetic. You are always attracting what you are, not what you want. And to become the version of you who has already received is the highest form of alignment. Do not confuse this with arrogance or fantasy. This is not about pretending. It is about embodying. True embodiment is quiet, calm, unshakable. There is no grasping in it, no begging. There is only knowing. The same way you know your name, the same way you know the sun will rise. When you live from that knowing, your steps are sure. Your energy changes. You no longer try to convince the world, you simply allow it to respond. This is why identity is the key. If you still see yourself as the one who lacks, you will continue to experience lack. If you still feel unworthy, unprepared, or separate from your desire, you cannot walk in alignment with it. You cannot reach a destination if you insist on standing in a different place. You must become the person who already has it, internally, long before the evidence appears externally. So ask yourself, how would I speak if it were already mine? How would I hold myself? How would I make decisions? What would I no longer tolerate? What would I celebrate? Begin living in those answers. Let every thought, every step, every breath be colored by the assumption of fulfillment. This is not about forcing change. It's about allowing the truth to rise within you. The truth that what you seek is not far. It is within reach, within you, waiting for your agreement. When you agree with it, you shift timelines. You align with the version of reality where your desire is not a hope, but a memory. There is no greater power than this, to live as though it is already done, to become in consciousness the one who possesses. That is the secret. That is the way. And once you embody that state, you do not chase. What is yours begins to chase you, because life always follows being. And when you become it, you receive it. Everything begins within. The world you see is only a mirror reflecting your inner assumptions, your feelings, your faith in your identity. You are not waiting on the universe is waiting on you. Waiting for you to accept, to feel, to embody the version of yourself who already has what you seek. Desire is divine, imagination is sacred, feeling is creative, doubt is delay, and action, when taken from the state of already having, is the very language of manifestation. So live from the end. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let your inner world become so saturated with certainty that the outer world must conform. This is not theory, it is law. What you accept as real within must express itself without. And once you understand this, you stop hoping and start knowing. You stop striving and start receiving. Thank you for walking this journey of truth and transformation. May you remember your power, live from your highest state, and trust that what you desire is not only possible, it is already yours. For a moment, recall the times you sought respect from others only to meet cold indifference or outright disdain. That feeling of disrespect, though painful, was never about them. It was a reflection of where you stood within yourself, a lesson wrapped in discomfort. When disrespect arrives, it signals the completion of a cycle. It whispers, "You have outgrown this, you see." Life is not designed to give you what you deserve, it gives you what you embody. Disrespect cannot take root in a heart that knows its worth. It thrives only where doubt and fear create fertile soil. Do not curse the disrespect, bless it instead. It came to remind you of your power. It was the mirror showing you the places where your self-concept wavered. Instead of reacting, step back. In that space of silence, you'll find clarity. The closure you seek isn't in their apology or acknowledgement. It's in your decision to release their role in your story. You must understand this closure is not a door they close for you. It is a door you walk through when you've decided you are done waiting for someone to value what you've already deemed priceless. Disrespect forces a choice upon you. Will you remain in spaces that deplete you? Or will you rise to meet the standard of your divine nature? Choose wisely, for your reality adjusts to the frequency you radiate. Forgive yourself, not them, not yet, for staying where respect was absent. That self-forgiveness is your freedom. It declares, "I am no longer available for anything that diminishes my light." Now turn your gaze forward. Understand that disrespect wasn't the enemy. It was the teacher, the redeemer, the guide. Its purpose was to lead you to the realization that you never needed closure from them. You are the beginning and the end of your story. Disrespect was the closure, and your rebirth begins now. Every experience in your life is a reflection of your inner world, a mirror held up to the state of consciousness you carry. When disrespect appears, it may feel like an external attack, a wound inflicted by someone else's hand. But if you pause, breathe, and look within, you'll find that it is not an isolated incident. It is a response, a manifestation of a consciousness you have entertained, perhaps unknowingly. Your life is not shaped by random events or the whims of others. It is a projection of your deepest beliefs and assumptions. You are both the creator and the observer, crafting your reality with every thought, emotion, and conviction. Disrespect, therefore, is not an accident. It is an echo reverberating from the thoughts you have nurtured about yourself, your worth, and your place in the world. Consider for a moment how often you have doubted your value. How many times have you allowed self-criticism to whisper louder than self-love? When you question your worth, you unconsciously invite experiences that confirm those doubts. You attract circumstances and people who mirror back to you the vibration of unworthiness you've carried within. This is not punishment, it is clarity. Life always shows you what you truly believe. When someone disrespects you, it is easy to point the finger outward, to blame their actions or their lack of understanding. Yet the real power lies in turning inward and asking, what within me aligned with this experience? What belief or fear allowed this to appear in my reality? This is not about blaming yourself for others' behavior, but recognizing that your inner state is the seedbed of your experiences. You hold the power to transform those seeds, To understand this is to awaken to your role as the creator of your life. You are not a victim of circumstances, you are the architect of them. When disrespect arises, it is not a final judgment but an invitation, a call to realign with your true self. It asks you to examine the inner conversations you've been holding. Have you been silently agreeing with the notion that you deserve less? Have you tolerated disrespect from yourself, allowing negative self-talk or unkind comparisons to define you? These inner currents create the outer waves. Now, as the observer, you have the power to shift your consciousness. Begin by cultivating self-respect, not as a reaction to others, but as a declaration of your inherent worth. Speak to yourself with kindness. Hold your head high, not in arrogance, but in recognition of the divinity within you. As you do this, the world around you will change. The people and situations that no longer align with this elevated state will naturally fade away. Disrespect will no longer find a foothold in your life because your consciousness will no longer entertain it. You are both the observer and the creator. Every moment is an opportunity to adjust your focus, to elevate your vibration, and to align with the truth of who you are. Disrespect is not your reality, it is a passing shadow cast by an old belief. The moment you step into the light of self-awareness, the shadow dissolves, and the world reflects back the love and respect you now embody. Disrespect is a sharp, uncomfortable reminder, yet it holds a profound truth beneath its sting. It may seem like an external attack on your worth, but the reality is that no act of disrespect has the power to diminish your intrinsic value. What it does instead is illuminate the areas within you that have yet to fully embrace and affirm your own worth. It reveals where you've allowed doubt, insecurity, or fear to take root in your consciousness. This revelation, painful as it may feel, is not a punishment, it is an invitation to grow. Your worth is not determined by the opinions, actions, or recognition of others. It is inherent, unchanging, and divine. The mistake we often make is tying our value to external validation, seeking proof of it in the approval of others or the circumstances of life. When disrespect enters, it shatters that illusion, forcing you to confront the truth your worth has always been and will always be, independent of the world's judgment. When someone disrespects you, it does not define who you are. Instead, it offers a reflection of how much of your worth you have chosen to see and embody. If you find yourself feeling diminished by their actions, it is not because your value has lessened, but because you may not yet fully recognize it. Disrespect shines a light on the gaps in your self-concept, the spaces where you have not yet declared, "I am worthy and I am enough." This realization is where true closure begins. Closure is not about waiting for an apology or vindication from those who have wronged you. It is not about proving yourself to anyone or seeking their validation. Closure is an act of self-recognition, a moment where you decide to see yourself fully and honor your worth, regardless of external circumstances. It is a decision to no longer accept anything less than respect, not just from others, but from yourself. Ask yourself, how often have I tolerated disrespect because I doubted my value? How often have I stayed silent when I should have spoken up, or given too much while receiving too little? These moments are not failures, but opportunities for awakening. They are the spaces where you have the chance to rewrite your narrative, to affirm your worth in a way that no one can take from you. To affirm your value, begin with self-respect. Speak to yourself with kindness. Set boundaries not as a defense mechanism, but as a declaration of what you will and will not accept. Surround yourself with people and situations that honor the truth of who you are. But most importantly, remember that your value is not something you need to earn or prove. It simply is. Disrespect then becomes a teacher. It challenges you to rise higher, to step into the fullness of your worth. It is not a reflection of your inadequacy, but a call to affirm your wholeness. When you embrace this truth, you reclaim your power. You no longer seek closure from others because you realize it was never theirs to give. Closure begins with you in the quiet yet powerful decision to see yourself as you truly are, whole, worthy, and enough. Disrespect is a moment of awakening, though it rarely feels that way at first. It strikes like a sharp wind, unsettling and unexpected, leaving you questioning the balance of your world. Yet beneath its sting lies an invitation to detach from illusions you have unknowingly held onto, illusions that no longer serve the person you are becoming. Disrespect, when viewed with clarity, is not an ending to mourn but a release to welcome. It is the universe's way of saying you have outgrown this. The illusion often begins subtly. It may be the belief that you must tolerate less than kind behavior to preserve relationships. Or it might be the idea that others hold the key to validating your worth. Over time, these illusions become deeply embedded, shaping how you view yourself and how you navigate the world. They create patterns where you overextend, compromise your needs, or ignore the quiet voice within that says, you deserve more. When disrespect occurs, it disrupts these illusions. It exposes the imbalance in the dynamic and forces you to confront a truth you might have been avoiding. You no longer align with this treatment or these circumstances. The disrespect isn't random, it's the final whisper of an old pattern, one that your evolving consciousness can no longer sustain. It hurts because it shakes the foundation of what you once believed, but in that shaking lies the opportunity for liberation. This moment of realization often comes with grief. But the grief is not for the loss of what was. It is for the time you spent clinging to an illusion that held you back. It is for the parts of yourself you suppressed to fit into spaces that no longer honor your growth. Allow yourself to feel this grief, not as a defeat, but as a cleansing. Let it move through you, clearing the way for the clarity and strength to step forward. Releasing the illusion is not an act of rejection or bitterness. It is an act of love for yourself and the journey you are on. It is acknowledging that the version of you who once tolerated disrespect did so out of a need to learn, to grow, and to ultimately recognize your own worth. That version of you was not weak, but simply unaware of the power you now hold. The act of detachment is your declaration that you are ready to live in alignment with your highest self. When you detach from the illusion, you stop seeking closure or understanding from those who disrespected you. You realize that their behavior was never about your value, but about their own limitations. You no longer take their actions personally because you understand that they were a mirror, reflecting not your inadequacy, but your readiness to transcend the dynamic entirely. Embrace this release. See it as a shedding of old skin, a necessary part of your evolution. What lies ahead is not emptiness, but a new beginning, one rooted in authenticity and self-respect. Disrespect was the signal that the illusion had served its purpose. It awakened you to the truth of who you are, of being worthy of love, respect, and alignment with the highest good. The release is not something to fear, but to celebrate. It marks the moment you step into the freedom of your true self, detached from the illusions that once held you captive. Silence is a profound force, often underestimated in its capacity to communicate, transform, and heal. When faced with disrespect, the instinct to respond can feel overwhelming, driven by a need to defend, explain, or reclaim dignity. Yet the most powerful response is often no response at all. Silence, when it emanates from a place of inner peace and strength, speaks louder than any words could ever convey. It is not weakness or passivity, it is mastery. When someone disrespects you, their words or actions often come from a place of their own pain, insecurity, or lack of understanding. To engage with them is to enter their vibration, allowing their negativity to pull you into a state of reactivity. This is precisely what gives their actions power. The moment you react, you tether yourself to their energy, validating their behavior by meeting it on its level. But silence, a calm, intentional silence, breaks this cycle. It removes you from the arena entirely, leaving them to grapple with their actions in the empty echo of your non-response. True silence is not merely the absence of speech, it is the presence of understanding. It is the recognition that not every battle requires your participation, and that your worth does not depend on defending it to others. When you remain silent in the face of disrespect, you assert your boundaries in a way that words cannot. You demonstrate that your peace is unshakable, that your self-worth is not dictated by external circumstances. This silence becomes a mirror, reflecting the disrespect back to its source without adding fuel to the fire. Inner peace is the foundation of this kind of silence. It requires you to let go of the need for validation or vindication. Instead of reacting, you turn inward, grounding yourself in the truth of who you are. You remind yourself that your value is inherent, untouchable by anyone else's opinion or actions. From this place of strength, silence becomes an act of empowerment, a declaration that you refuse to be diminished by another's behavior. Silence also creates space for reflection, for clarity, and for healing. In the stillness, you can observe the situation without the haze of emotion clouding your judgment. You can ask yourself, what does this moment reveal about the other person? And what does it reveal about me? Often, disrespect points to areas where you may need to strengthen your boundaries or reassess your relationships. Silence allows you to process these insights with wisdom and intention, rather than reacting impulsively. Silence disrupts the dynamic of disrespect. Those who seek to provoke or belittle often rely on your reaction to justify their behavior or to feel a sense of control. When you withhold that reaction, you deny them the satisfaction they seek. Your silence, coupled with your unwavering peace, sends a clear message their actions cannot touch you. Over time, this response or lack thereof often leads to a shift in their behavior, as they come to realize that their attempts to disrupt your balance are futile. Then is not an absence of power, but its highest expression. It shows that you are anchored in your truth, unshaken by the storms of others' opinions. It demonstrates a profound understanding that your energy is precious, and that not every situation warrants its expenditure. When you embrace silence as a response to disrespect, you reclaim your power, protect your peace, and affirm your self-worth in a way that words never could. Disrespect, though painful, is not without purpose. It is often a divine signal, a nudge from the universe guiding you toward a path more aligned with your true self. While it may initially feel like a wound inflicted upon your dignity, disrespect serves as a mirror reflecting what no longer resonates with your growth. It is not an experience to dwell on or grieve endlessly, but a powerful redirection toward what is meant for you. In this way, closure becomes not an end, but a beginning, a doorway to greater possibilities and alignment with your highest self. When disrespect enters your life, it is rarely random. It often emerges in situations or relationships that have already begun to show signs of imbalance or disharmony. Perhaps you've been ignoring red flags, settling for less than you deserve, or clinging to circumstances out of fear of change. Disrespect comes as the breaking point, the moment when the universe steps in and says, "No more." It shakes the foundation of what you've accepted, forcing you to confront the truth you are meant for something greater. Closure, in this context, is not about receiving apologies or understanding from those who have wronged you. It is about recognizing the gift hidden within the experience. Disrespect forces you to evaluate your boundaries, values, and sense of self-worth. It challenges you to ask important questions. Why did I tolerate this? What lesson is being presented here? How can I use this experience to elevate myself? These reflections are not easy, but they are necessary. They empower you to let go of what no longer serves you and to make space for what does. The redirection that comes from disrespect is a divine act of alignment. It points you toward relationships, opportunities, and environments that honor your worth and support your growth. It encourages you to move away from spaces that diminish you and toward those that uplift you. This process is not always immediate or comfortable. It requires trust in yourself, in the lessons of the experience, and in the unfolding of your journey. But as you embrace the redirection, you begin to see the wisdom in what initially felt like pain. This shift in perspective transforms disrespect into a tool for empowerment. Instead of viewing it as an attack on your character, you begin to see it as a catalyst for change. You understand that it is not the world rejecting you, but the universe guiding you. Every moment of disrespect becomes a stepping stone, leading you closer to your authentic path. Closure, then, is not about holding on to the past, but about releasing it with gratitude. It is about saying thank you for the lesson and stepping boldly into the future. New beginnings await on the other side of closure. When you release the weight of disrespect and embrace the redirection it offers, you open yourself to possibilities you may not have imagined. You find yourself drawn to people and experiences that reflect your true value, and you begin to live in alignment with your highest self. Disrespect, in its transformative power, becomes not an obstacle but a gift, a divine signal pointing you toward the life you are meant to live. Forgiving oneself is among the most profound acts of liberation. When you forgive yourself for lingering in spaces where respect was absent, you release the chains of guilt, regret, and self-blame that bind you to cycles of pain. This forgiveness is not about excusing the behavior of others or denying the hurt it caused. It is about acknowledging your humanity, learning from the experience, and granting yourself the freedom to move forward. Within this act lies the closure that heals old wounds and empowers you to embrace a life alive with your worth. Lingering where respect was absent often stems from a place of hope or fear. You may have hoped that things would improve, that the person or situation would change, or that your patience and effort would eventually be recognized. Or perhaps you feared the unknown. The thought of walking away from the familiar, even if it was painful, seemed more daunting than staying. These feelings are natural and human. They reflect your capacity to care deeply and your desire for connection, even in imperfect circumstances. Staying too long in such spaces can lead to self-reproach. You might question why you tolerated the disrespect or blame yourself for not leaving sooner. This self-criticism, while common, only deepens the wound. It keeps you trapped in the very cycle you wish to escape, replaying the moments of pain and perpetuating feelings of inadequacy. To break free, you must turn your compassion inward. Forgive yourself for not knowing then what you know now, for holding on to hope, and for being human. Self-forgiveness begins with understanding. Recognize that you made choices based on the awareness and circumstances you had at the time. You stayed because you believed in some way that it was the best course of action then. This belief does not make you weak or foolish. It makes you someone who wanted to see the good, who valued connection, and who hoped for better. There is no shame in these intentions, even if they led to pain. They were part of your journey, a chapter in your growth. In forgiving yourself, you reclaim your power. You no longer define yourself by past decisions or the disrespect you endured. Instead, you see those moments as stepping stones, each teaching you more about your boundaries, your worth, and your capacity for resilience. This shift in perspective allows you to release the emotional weight you've been carrying, the guilt, the regret, the lingering what-ifs. Forgiveness becomes the key that unlocks the door to freedom, enabling you to close the chapter with grace and move forward unburdened. Closure is not about forgetting what happened, it's about transforming your relationship with it. When you forgive yourself, you honor the lessons learned and the strength you gained. You affirm that your worth is not diminished by the disrespect of others or the time spent in places that did not honor you. Instead, your worth is inherent, untouched by external circumstances. In this realization lies profound freedom. As you free yourself from cycles of pain, you create space for new beginnings. You invite into your life people and experiences that reflect the respect and love you now extend to yourself. Self-forgiveness becomes a declaration that you are worthy of better, that you are capable of growth, and that you will no longer settle for anything less than alignment with your highest self. Through this act of forgiveness, you find the closure that sets you free. Disrespect, while painful, is often a profound teacher. It reveals the state of your inner world, invites you to affirm your intrinsic value, and offers redirection toward a life aligned with your highest self. Through silence, self-forgiveness, and the courage to detach from illusions, you transform these moments into gateways of empowerment. Disrespect, instead of being a wound to carry, becomes a lesson to cherish, a catalyst for growth. healing, and freedom. The power to rise above lies within you. By embracing these truths, you free yourself from cycles of pain and step boldly into the life you deserve. Let every experience, even those born of disrespect, refine your strength, deepen your wisdom, and bring you closer to the fulfillment of your authentic self. Thank you for allowing these reflections to resonate with your journey. May you find peace, power, and purpose in every step forward. As the years pass and you step into the autumn of your life, the world begins to reveal its true colors. You start to see who stood by your side when storms rolled in, and who quietly disappeared when the sun faded. In this season of wisdom, let me remind you of one essential truth: not everyone deserves your help, especially in your old age. Your energy, now more than ever, is precious. It is a resource you cannot afford to waste. Gone are the days of endless reserves, and now you must choose wisely where to invest your time, love, and care. Beware of those who come to you as takers, cloaked in the guise of need, but who, deep down, are void of gratitude. These are the ones who will drain you dry, offering nothing in return but excuses and complaints. Then there are the manipulators, those who twist your kindness into an obligation. They play on your sense of guilt, weaving a web of lies and half-truths to bind you into their schemes. Do not be ensnared. Their loyalty is fickle, and their love is conditional. Helping them will only rob you of the peace you have worked so hard to attain. Reserve your aid for those who have proven their worth over time. These are the ones who offered you a hand when you stumbled, who listened when no one else would, and who stood by you when the world turned its back. These souls are rare gems in a sea of mediocrity. Give to them, for their hearts are filled with the same compassion and loyalty you once gave freely. Self-preservation is not selfish, it is survival. The years you have left are for nurturing your spirit, savoring your memories, and surrounding yourself with love that uplifts you. Helping the wrong people will only leave you depleted, resentful, and burdened by their ingratitude. Do not let their chaos become your burden. Let us honor the law of reciprocity. Life flows in cycles, and relationships are no different. If there is no balance, if love, respect, and effort do not flow both ways, then the bond is broken. Give where there is reciprocity, and step away from those who only take. In your old age, your legacy is not measured by how many you helped, but by the wisdom you carried and the peace you cultivated. Choose wisely, and remember this: it is not your duty to save everyone. Focus on saving yourself. As the years pass and you enter the later stages of life, a profound truth emerges: your energy is no longer the boundless reservoir it once was. It becomes a precious, finite resource, one that must be treated with reverence and care. Life has shaped you, weathered you, and granted you wisdom. In this stage, your energy is not to be squandered but cherished, directed toward nurturing your well-being and preserving your peace of mind. This is not selfishness, it is survival, an act of self-respect and acknowledgement of your own value. When you were younger, your energy seemed limitless, a vibrant force that could be spent freely on work, relationships, and the relentless demands of life. You gave generously, often without a second thought, believing you had an endless reserve to draw from. But as time progresses, you come to realize that your energy, like a fragile flame, must be shielded from unnecessary winds. The careless expenditure of your vitality can no longer be justified, especially when it comes at the cost of your inner tranquility. In old age, the wisdom gained through years of experience teaches you to recognize what truly matters. The hustle and bustle of pleasing others, fulfilling obligations that drain your spirit, and chasing after the approval of those who do not value you, all of this becomes noise, distracting you from what is truly sacred. Your well-being must become your priority, for without it, you have nothing to offer the world, not even yourself. This is a time to reflect on the choices you make and the people you allow into your life. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some will come as takers, eager to draw from your reservoir without offering anything in return. These individuals see your kindness as a resource to exploit, not as a gift to honor. You owe them nothing. Your energy is a sacred offering, and it should be given only where it is valued, reciprocated, and nurtured. Preserving your energy also means letting go of situations and relationships that disturb your peace. The arguments, the petty dramas, and the emotional turmoil that once seemed inevitable now reveal themselves as unnecessary burdens. You no longer have the luxury or the desire to engage in conflicts that do nothing but drain your spirit. Choosing peace over chaos is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength. It is the realization that your well-being is worth more than proving a point or holding on to grudges. This stage of life also calls for intentional rest and self-care. Your body may not move as swiftly as it once did, but it still carries you through the day. Treat it kindly. Your mind may wander to memories of the past, but it deserves the serenity of the present moment. Meditation, quiet reflection, and the simple pleasures of life, a walk in nature, a warm cup of tea, the laughter of loved ones, these become the nourishment your soul craves. The act of preserving your energy extends beyond the physical and mental. It is a spiritual endeavor, a recognition that your essence, your very being, is sacred. It is not to be spent recklessly or given to those who do not cherish it. Protecting your energy means honoring the divine spark within you, the light that has carried you through every triumph and trial. It is an acknowledgement that you are worthy of care, not just from others, but from yourself. As you nurture your well-being, you also nurture the peace of mind that allows you to face each day with grace. Peace becomes your foundation, the unshakable center from which you navigate the world. It is not something you find, it is something you find, it is something you create, moment by moment, choice by choice. And it begins with the decision to guard your energy fiercely, to use it wisely, and to invest it only in what truly matters. In your old age, your energy is a treasure. Treat it as such. Spend it on what enriches your life, what brings you joy, and what fosters love and connection. Let go of anything that drains you or disturbs your peace. By doing so, you honor not just the years you have lived, but the life you have yet to live, full of meaning, purpose, and serenity. As you journey through life, one of the most valuable lessons you can learn is that not everyone who crosses your path has your best interests at heart. Among the many individuals you will encounter, there are those who take and take, seemingly without end, offering little to nothing in return. These people, often charming and persuasive, thrive on the generosity of others while giving no thought to the impact of their actions. It is essential to recognize these takers and guard yourself against their draining influence. The takers are not always easy to spot at first. They may present themselves as friends, partners, or even family members who appear to need your help, your time, or your resources. They might frame their requests in ways that tug at your heartstrings, appealing to your compassion and kindness. Yet beneath their requests lies an unspoken expectation they are entitled to your energy and effort, and they see no need to reciprocate. Their gratitude, if offered at all, is fleeting and shallow, serving only as a means to keep you engaged. The danger of takers lies in their ability to disguise their intentions. They often know how to manipulate your emotions, making you feel guilty for setting boundaries or saying no. They might play the victim, spinning stories of hardship to elicit your sympathy, or they may use flattery and charm to make you feel special and needed. But once you step back and observe their patterns, the truth becomes clear: their concern is not for you, but for what you can provide. One of the telltale signs of a taker is their lack of reciprocity. They are quick to receive, but slow or entirely unwilling to give. If you find yourself always being the one to initiate, support, or sacrifice, it may be a sign that you are dealing with a taker. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and balance, where both parties contribute to each other's well-being. Takers, however, disrupt this balance, creating a one-sided dynamic that leaves you drained and unfulfilled. Another characteristic of takers is their selective presence. They often appear when they need something from you, but they are noticeably absent when you are in need. They may avoid responsibility, shirk commitments, or vanish during times of difficulty, only to resurface when it suits them. This inconsistency reveals their true priorities. They are not invested in you as a person, but in the benefits they can extract from your relationship. Guarding yourself against takers requires both awareness and courage. It begins with recognizing their patterns and acknowledging the impact they have on your life. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with them. Do you feel uplifted and valued, or do you feel drained, used, and unappreciated? Your emotional responses are powerful indicators of the health of your relationships. Once you identify a taker in your life, the next step is to establish and enforce boundaries. This is not always easy, especially if the taker is someone you care about deeply. However, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and self-preservation. It is a way of saying, I value myself and my energy enough to protect it. Boundaries may involve saying no to unreasonable requests, limiting your interactions, or even walking away from the relationship if necessary. It is important to remember that guarding yourself against takers is not about becoming selfish or closed off. Rather, it is about creating space for relationships that are nourishing, balanced, and mutually supportive. By protecting your energy, you make room for people who genuinely appreciate and reciprocate your kindness, who value you for who you are rather than what you can provide. In life, your resources, be they emotional, physical, or material, are finite. Giving generously is a beautiful trait, but it must be paired with discernment. Not everyone deserves your kindness, and not everyone will honor your generosity. By learning to recognize takers and guarding yourself against their influence, you empower yourself to live a life that is not only peaceful, but also enriched by relationships rooted in respect, gratitude, and reciprocity. As you navigate through life, you'll encounter a variety of people with different motives, intentions, and ways of interacting. Among them are manipulators, those who disguise their selfishness with charm, false humility, or even fabricated vulnerability. These individuals are adept at identifying kind and empathetic people, using their goodness as a tool for personal gain. Understanding how to recognize manipulators and choosing not to invest in them is essential for protecting your peace and preserving your energy. Manipulators often mask their true intentions behind a facade of friendliness or helplessness. They present themselves as individuals in need, appealing to your sense of compassion. They may craft stories that pull at your heartstrings or create scenarios where you feel compelled to intervene. Their tactics are subtle but effective, leaving you feeling obligated to help or support them, even at the expense of your own well-being. What makes manipulators particularly dangerous is their ability to twist situations to their advantage. They excel at making you feel responsible for their problems, shifting the burden of their issues onto your shoulders. They may say things like, if you don't help me, I don't know what I'll do, or I thought you cared about me. These statements are designed to provoke guilt and weaken your resolve, making it difficult for you to set boundaries. The manipulators often exploit your desire to be kind and generous. They know that you value relationships and want to make others happy, and they use this knowledge as a tool to serve their own interests. They may take and take, offering little in return, all while making you feel that your contributions are never enough. Over time, their behavior can leave you feeling drained, unappreciated, and even resentful, as your kindness is met with selfishness rather than gratitude. Another hallmark of manipulators is their lack of accountability. When confronted, they rarely admit their actions or take responsibility for their behavior. Instead, they deflect, blame others, or play the victim to divert attention from their wrongdoing. They might accuse you of being unfair or insensitive, flipping the script to make you question your perceptions. This tactic, often referred to as gaslighting, is designed to erode your confidence and make you doubt your instincts. Choosing not to invest in manipulators requires a combination of self-awareness, courage, and unwavering commitment to your own well-being. The first step is recognizing the signs of manipulation and trusting your intuition. Pay attention to patterns in your relationships. Do certain people consistently make you feel obligated, guilty, or unsure of yourself? Do they always seem to benefit while you are left feeling depleted or used? These are red flags that should not be ignored. Once you identify manipulators in your life, the next step is to establish clear boundaries. This may involve saying no to unreasonable requests, limiting your interactions, or refusing to engage in manipulative conversations. Setting boundaries is not an act of hostility, it is a declaration of self-respect. It communicates that while you are kind and generous, you will not allow your goodwill to be taken for granted or exploited. It's important to remember that disengaging from manipulators does not mean you lack compassion or care. It means you recognize the importance of prioritizing relationships that are mutual, respectful, and supportive. By stepping away from manipulative individuals, you create space for connections that uplift and nurture you rather than drain and undermine you. Letting go of manipulators can be challenging, especially if they are people you care about or have known for a long time. However, it is crucial to understand that true relationships are built on trust, respect, and reciprocity, not on guilt, coercion, or deceit. Holding on to someone who consistently manipulates you only perpetuates a cycle of imbalance and emotional strain. Your kindness is a gift, but it is not a gift that should be squandered on those who exploit it. By refusing to invest in manipulators, you affirm your worth and protect your peace of mind. You free yourself from the emotional turmoil they create and open the door to relationships that honor and value your true self. Your time, energy, and compassion are precious. Use them wisely and never allow them to be manipulated for someone else's selfish gain. Life has a way of revealing who truly cares for you and who does not. As you reflect on your journey, it becomes evident that some people remain by your side during both triumphs and trials, while others seem to vanish when the road becomes difficult. It is crucial to prioritize those who have consistently shown genuine care and support, rather than investing your time, energy, or resources in those who abandoned or ignored you when you needed them most. True supporters are a rare and invaluable treasure. They are the ones who celebrate your victories as if they were their own, and who stand firmly with you when you face challenges. They offer their presence, their encouragement, and their unwavering belief in your potential, even during moments when you doubt yourself. These individuals do not seek to gain from your struggles. Instead, they give selflessly, demonstrating that their commitment to you is rooted in love, respect, and authenticity. In contrast, there are those who claim to care but whose actions tell a different story. These people may enjoy the benefits of your friendship, assistance, or generosity when things are going well, but they disappear when you find yourself in need. They may offer excuses, avoid your calls, or distance themselves under the guise of being too busy. Their absence during critical times reveals a lack of genuine connection, a relationship based more on convenience than on mutual respect and care. The painful reality is that not everyone you care for will reciprocate your kindness. Some people may take your presence for granted, assuming you will always be there regardless of how they treat you. Others may reappear when they sense you have something to offer, seeking to benefit from your successes without contributing to your journey. It is important to recognize these patterns and to shift your focus to those who truly deserve your energy. Prioritizing true supporters begins with an honest evaluation of your relationships. Reflect on the people in your life and their actions during your times of need. Who was there to offer comfort, advice, or practical help? Who listened without judgment, stood by you without expectation, and reminded you of your strength? Conversely, who remained silent, distant, or indifferent when you reached out for support? These reflections can be painful but are necessary to discern who truly values and uplifts you. Choosing to invest in true supporters does not mean holding grudges against those who let you down. Rather, it is about aligning your energy with those who align with your values. It is about recognizing that your time and care are precious and should be given to those who have shown they value them. This does not diminish your compassion or willingness to help others. It simply ensures that your kindness is not wasted on those who do not appreciate it. By prioritizing genuine supporters, you create an environment of mutual respect and love. These relationships are marked by reciprocity, where both parties give and receive in ways that strengthen the bond. In such connections, you feel safe, valued, and empowered, knowing that your contributions are recognized and that you are not alone in your struggles. It is also important to express gratitude to your true supporters. Acknowledge their presence, thank them for their unwavering care, and let them know how much they mean to you. This not only deepens the bond but also ensures that they feel valued and appreciated. In doing so, you nurture a circle of support that becomes a source of strength and encouragement throughout your life. Prioritizing true supporters is an act of self-respect. It affirms your worth and ensures that you surround yourself with people who genuinely care for your well-being. In doing so, you free yourself from the emotional drain of one-sided relationships and open the door to a life filled with authentic connections. Your energy is finite, invested wisely in those who have proven they are worthy of it. In life, the instinct to help others is often seen as a virtue. Compassion and kindness drive us to lend a hand, to offer support, and to be there for those who seem to need us. But not all acts of helping are equal, nor do they lead to positive outcomes. Helping the wrong people, those who take without giving back, those who manipulate your kindness, or those who repeatedly make poor choices can leave you emotionally drained, vulnerable, and even resentful. To avoid these consequences, it is essential to practice self-preservation by putting yourself first. Self-preservation is not an act of selfishness, it is an acknowledgement of your worth and a commitment to maintaining your emotional, physical, and mental well-being. Without boundaries, helping others can quickly become a one-sided exchange where your resources are depleted while the other person offers little or nothing in return. This imbalance can erode your energy and leave you feeling used or unappreciated. The first step in self-preservation is recognizing the importance of your own needs. Too often, people who are naturally generous overlook their own well-being in their efforts to assist others. They may say yes to every request, sacrifice their time, or endure toxic relationships out of a sense of duty or guilt. Over time, this can lead to burnout, frustration, and a deep sense of resentment toward those they are trying to help. The reality is, you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you are not taking care of yourself, you will eventually have nothing left to give. To put yourself first, you must learn to identify the wrong people to help. These individuals often exhibit certain patterns of behavior that make it clear they are not interested in mutual support or growth. They may consistently take without giving back, disregard your boundaries, or show little appreciation for your efforts. They might also exhibit a pattern of making the same mistakes repeatedly, refusing to take responsibility for their actions or learn from their experiences. Helping such individuals often leads to a cycle of frustration and disappointment as your efforts are met with indifference or even entitlement. Setting boundaries is a critical part of self-preservation. This involves saying no to requests that feel unreasonable or draining, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. It also means recognizing when a relationship or situation is no longer serving your well-being and having the courage to walk away. Boundaries are not about shutting people out, they are about protecting your energy and ensuring that your kindness is directed toward those who value and respect it. Another key aspect of self-preservation is understanding that it is not your responsibility to fix everyone. Each person has their own journey, and sometimes the best way to help someone is by allowing them to face the consequences of their actions and learn from their mistakes. By constantly stepping in to save others, you may inadvertently enable their harmful patterns and prevent them from developing the resilience and accountability they need to grow. Practicing self-preservation also involves shifting your mindset. It means letting go of the guilt or shame that often accompanies the decision to prioritize yourself. Society often glorifies self-sacrifice, but there is nothing noble about neglecting your own needs for the sake of others who do not reciprocate or appreciate your efforts. You are not obligated to help everyone, especially if doing so comes at the cost of your own peace and well-being. When you put yourself first, you are better equipped to offer meaningful help to those who truly deserve it. By preserving your energy and maintaining healthy boundaries, you can invest in relationships and situations that are mutually supportive and fulfilling. This allows you to make a genuine difference without compromising your own health or happiness. Self-preservation is about valuing yourself enough to recognize when helping others is doing more harm than good. It is about understanding that your energy, time, and resources are precious and should be directed toward people and causes that align with your values and bring you joy. By putting yourself first, you empower yourself to live a life of balance, fulfillment, and authentic connection. Life is a constant exchange of energy, and relationships are at the heart of this flow. The essence of healthy and fulfilling connections lies in reciprocity, a mutual exchange of respect, love, and understanding that nurtures both parties. To give without receiving or to receive without giving disrupts this balance, leaving one side drained and the other overindulged. True relationships thrive when they are rooted in equality, where each person values and contributes to the bond, ensuring that the circle of reciprocity remains unbroken. Giving is a natural and beautiful act, but when it is one-sided, it becomes exhausting and unsustainable. Relationships should not feel like obligations or transactions where one party consistently gives while the other takes without regard for the giver's needs. Whether it is emotional support, time, or material resources, the flow must go both ways for the relationship to remain healthy and balanced. A one-sided connection often leads to resentment, fatigue, and an erosion of trust, as the giver begins to feel unappreciated or exploited. The foundation of reciprocity lies in mutual respect. Respect means valuing the other person's time, feelings, and boundaries as much as your own. It is recognizing their worth and treating them with dignity, even when disagreements arise. When respect is present, giving and receiving become acts of love rather than duties. Both parties are mindful of the other's needs, ensuring that the relationship does not tip into imbalance. Without respect, however, even well-intentioned efforts can become manipulative or self-serving, creating a dynamic where one person's needs consistently overshadow the other's. Love is another key element that sustains reciprocity. Genuine love is not about keeping score or expecting something in return. It is about giving freely, because you care deeply for the other person's well-being. However, this does not mean tolerating neglect or exploitation in the name of love. True love recognizes the importance of balance and seeks to maintain it. If you find yourself always giving without being nourished in return, it is a sign that the relationship may lack the mutuality needed for it to thrive. Understanding is what binds respect and love together in the circle of reciprocity. Understanding allows you to see the other person's perspective, empathize with their struggles, and appreciate their efforts even if they differ from your own. It creates a sense of connection and trust that makes giving and receiving feel natural and effortless. When both parties strive to understand each other, they create a relationship that is resilient, supportive, and deeply fulfilling. Reciprocity does not mean that every act must be immediately matched or that the relationship is strictly equal at all times. There are moments when one person may need more support than the other, such as during times of illness, loss, or hardship. However, in a reciprocal relationship, these imbalances are temporary and balanced by the overall flow of mutual care. Both parties are committed to restoring equilibrium over time, ensuring that neither feels burdened or taken for granted. To foster reciprocity, it is essential to communicate openly and honestly. Share your needs, feelings, and expectations with the other person, and encourage them to do the same. This transparency helps to prevent misunderstandings and ensures that both parties are aligned in their intentions. It also allows you to address imbalances early on, before they lead to frustration or resentment. Another important aspect of reciprocity is knowing when to let go of relationships that lack mutual respect, love, and understanding. Holding on to connections that drain your energy or undermine your self-worth prevents you from investing in relationships that truly nourish and uplift you. Letting go is not an act of cruelty or selfishness. It is an affirmation of your value and a commitment to living in harmony with the natural flow of giving and receiving. In relationships that embody reciprocity, there is a profound sense of balance and fulfillment. Each person feels valued, supported, and understood, creating a bond that enriches both their lives. By giving only where there is mutual respect, love, and understanding, you honor the sacred exchange of energy that sustains all meaningful connections. You ensure that your relationships are not only balanced but also a source of joy, growth, and peace. In conclusion, life's most meaningful relationships are those built on the principles of mutual respect, love, and understanding. These are the connections where giving and receiving flow seamlessly, creating a balanced and fulfilling exchange. As we navigate through life, it is essential to recognize when a relationship becomes one-sided or draining and to prioritize self-preservation, ensuring that our energy is directed toward those who truly value and reciprocate our efforts. By setting healthy boundaries, recognizing the wrong people to invest in, and prioritizing those who have shown genuine care, we honor the sanctity of our time and energy. Ultimately, relationships that honor the circle of reciprocity allow us to grow, thrive, and find deep fulfillment, creating bonds that uplift, support, and sustain us. Beloved, consider the lilies of the field, they toil not, neither do they spin, yet they are adorned with splendor. This is the essence of detachment, to trust that your provision, your abundance, and your fulfillment are inevitable when you align with the higher law. Understand this desire is the spark that sets creation in motion. But desire must not become a chain. When you cling too tightly, you communicate fear that what you want might not come. And fear is a language the universe does not understand. Detach not by abandoning your dreams, but by stepping into the conviction that they are already yours. Imagine the life you desire. Feel it deeply. But then release it. Release it into the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all things. Your faith in its perfect timing must be unwavering. When you are detached, you are like the river that flows effortlessly, knowing it will reach the ocean. You do not chase, you allow. You do not force, you trust. The act of chasing implies lack, while the act of allowing declares abundance. Detachment is born of stillness. Be present in this moment, for it holds the seed of every future moment. When you live in the now with gratitude and joy, you send a signal of completeness to the universe. The completeness attracts more of itself. Your inner world is the creator. Tend to it with care. See yourself as the fulfilled, joyous being you desire to be. Let go of the how and when, these are not your concern. Your only task is to remain steadfast in your imagination and trust the divine flow. The law of detachment is not a law of apathy, it is a law of surrender. Surrender not to failure, but to infinite possibility. Trust and watch as all things you have longed for come rushing into your life, not because you chased them, but because you became the magnet. So today, let go. Release the need to control. Trust in the divine order. The things you desire are already making their way to you. And when you align with this truth, you will find that all you've ever dreamed of was not only possible, it was inevitable. Detachment is not indifference, it is trust in its purest form. Many misunderstand detachment, thinking it requires abandoning their desires or ceasing to care about outcomes. This could not be further from the truth. Detachment is not a cold dismissal of your dreams or goals, it is the quiet, confident knowing that what you seek is already making its way to you. It is the surrender of worry, the release of fear, and the embrace of trust in the unseen forces that govern creation. When you desire something, you ignite the process of manifestation. Your mind sets a vision, your heart supplies the emotion, and your spirit aligns with the infinite intelligence of the universe. But there is a crucial step that many overlook: letting go. Letting go does not mean you stop wanting what you desire, it means you release the need to control how and when it arrives. It means you step back from a place of anxiety and step into a place of faith. Clinging to your desires with desperation signals lack and doubt. It is as if you are telling the universe, I do not believe this can happen for me unless I intervene at every step. This mindset disrupts the natural flow of creation. Detachment, on the other hand, says, I trust that what I desire is already mine. I trust the process. I trust the timing. It is a powerful declaration of faith, and faith is the bridge between the seen and the unseen. To detach is to place your desires in the hands of an intelligence far greater than your own. Imagine planting a seed in fertile soil. You do not stand over the seed day and night, anxiously waiting for it to sprout. You trust the soil, the sun, and the rain to do their part. You trust that, unseen beneath the surface, the seed is growing. Your desires are no different. Once planted in the soil of your imagination, they require trust and patience to grow into reality. This trust is not passive, it is active and intentional. It requires you to focus on the feeling of already having what you desire. Instead of dwelling on its absence, you cultivate the joy, gratitude, and fulfillment that come from knowing it is already yours. This shift in focus is the essence of detachment. It aligns you with the frequency of what you want and allows the universe to work on your behalf without interference. Letting go also frees you from the burden of unnecessary worry. Worry is a misuse of imagination. It creates resistance rather than allowing flow. When you detach, you free yourself from this weight. You stop micromanaging the process and start living in the present moment, secure in the knowledge that all is unfolding perfectly. The detachment is not about giving up, it is about giving over. It is about trusting the divine orchestration that brings all things to fruition. When you detach, you move from a state of striving to a state of receiving. You become a vessel open to the abundance and blessings that are already on their way to you. In this trust, there is peace. In this letting go, there is power. And in this surrender, you find the fulfillment of every desire, not through force, but through faith. Desire is the starting point of all creation. It is the spark that ignites the process of bringing something new into existence. When you desire, you give direction to the creative energy of the universe, signaling what you wish to bring into your life. Desire is not something to suppress or feel guilty about. It is a natural and essential part of the human experience. It is the language through which you communicate with the infinite intelligence that governs all things. The act of desiring is only one part of the equation. Once you have clearly defined what you want, your next step is to release it. Releasing your desire does not mean abandoning it. It does not mean that you stop caring or that you no longer take inspired action when opportunities arise. Instead, releasing means surrendering the how and when to the universe. It is about trusting the process and allowing the forces beyond your immediate perception to work on your behalf. When you cling to your desires with anxiety or desperation, you inadvertently create resistance. It is as if you are telling the universe, I don't trust you to deliver this for me. This resistance can block the very thing you are trying to manifest. Imagine placing an order at a restaurant. Once you've told the server what you want, you don't keep calling them back to double check if the chef is making your food. You trust that your order is being prepared. Similarly, when you release your desire, you show faith in the unseen processes working to fulfill your request. Your role in this creative dance is simple yet profound: desire and imagine. Spend time visualizing your desire with clarity and emotion. See it in your mind's eye as though it is already yours. Feel the joy, gratitude, and excitement of having it. This practice aligns your energy with what you want, making you a magnet for its manifestation. But once you have done this, step back and trust. Let the universe take care of the details. Doubt is the enemy of manifestation. When you doubt, you disrupt the flow of energy that is working in your favor. Doubt is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it has started to grow. The seed cannot flourish under such conditions. In the same way, your desires cannot manifest if you continually second-guess whether they will come to pass. Instead of doubting, anchor yourself in the conviction that what you want is already making its way to you. Releasing your desire is an act of faith. It is a declaration that you believe in the unseen power that moves mountains and aligns circumstances. This faith is not blind, it is rooted in the knowledge that the universe is abundant and that it is your birthright to receive the good you seek. Trust that everything you need will come to you in perfect timing and in the best possible way. The more you practice this trust, the easier it becomes to release. You stop trying to control every detail and instead focus on maintaining a state of joy and gratitude. You become a co-creator working in harmony with the universe rather than trying to force outcomes. Desire, then release. This is the balance that allows miracles to unfold effortlessly in your life. Trust the process and watch as your dreams come to life. Clinging, though often fueled by the desire to secure something, ironically creates resistance and pushes it further away. The act of holding on too tightly stems from a place of fear that what you desire might slip through your fingers if you don't control every aspect of its manifestation. But this very fear is what creates a barrier between you and the fulfillment of your desires. The tighter your grip, the more you signal lack, doubt, and distrust to the universe, making it harder for the flow of life to deliver what you seek. Imagine holding water in your hands. If you cup your hands gently, the water remains calm and still. But if you squeeze your hands tightly, the water escapes through your fingers. The same principle applies to your desires. When you cling, you create tension, both within yourself and in the energy surrounding your intention. This tension disrupts the natural flow of manifestation, as it is rooted in a mindset of scarcity rather than abundance. Clinging often arises from the belief that you are solely responsible for making your desires a reality. While your thoughts, emotions, and actions are indeed powerful, they are only part of the equation. The universe, with its infinite intelligence and interconnectedness, plays an equally vital role in orchestrating circumstances, people, and events to bring your desires to fruition. When you cling, you attempt to take on the universe's role, which leads to frustration, burnout, and disappointment. On the other hand, is the key to allowing the flow to work in your favor. Detachment does not mean giving up on your desires or abandoning your goals. It means trusting the process and releasing the need to control every detail. It is a shift from fear to faith, from resistance to receptivity. When you detach, you create space for the universe to work its magic. You align yourself with the flow of abundance and become a magnet for the things you desire. Think of a kite flying in the sky. To keep it soaring, you must hold the string with just the right amount of tension, not too loose, but not too tight. If you pull too hard, the kite cannot rise and may even fall. Similarly, clinging to your desires stifles their ability to take flight. Detachment is like loosening your grip on the string, allowing the wind to lift the kite higher. Detachment also brings peace to your inner world. When you let go of clinging, you free yourself from the anxiety and stress that come from trying to control outcomes. You begin to trust that what is meant for you will come to you at the right time and in the best way. This trust allows you to focus on the present moment, where your true power lies. It is in this state of calm and confidence that your desires can flow to you effortlessly. When you detach, you align yourself with the energy of already having what you seek. You no longer act from a place of lack, but from a place of abundance. This alignment creates harmony between your inner world and the external universe, allowing your desires to manifest naturally and with ease. Clinging repels, detachment attracts. Release the need to control, and watch as the flow brings everything you desire closer to you. Living as if your desires are already yours is the foundation of true manifestation. It is the shift from hoping and wishing to knowing and being. When you embody this mindset, detachment becomes effortless, because you are no longer searching for something outside of yourself. Instead, you realize that what you seek already exists within you, and the outer world is simply a reflection of your inner state. The key to this way of living lies in your imagination. Everything begins within the mind. Before a house is built, it exists as a blueprint. Before a song is played, it exists as a melody in the composer's mind. Similarly, before your desires take form in the physical world, they must first exist in the realm of your imagination. This is not mere daydreaming, it is a deliberate act of creation. When you live as if your desires are already fulfilled, you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you wish to experience. This alignment sends a clear and powerful signal to the universe, allowing it to orchestrate the circumstances, people, and opportunities that will bring your desires to fruition. But more importantly, this alignment transforms your inner world. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from need to fulfillment. Imagine the joy and gratitude you would feel if your desire were already a reality. Close your eyes and feel it now. What does it look like? How does it feel? How would you carry yourself? What choices would you make? When you act, think, and feel as though your desire is already yours, you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You become a vibrational match to your desire, and the outer world has no choice but to conform to your inner state. This realization makes detachment effortless, because you no longer feel the need to chase or control. You understand that the thing you desire is not separate from you, it is already a part of you, waiting to be expressed. You stop asking when will it come or how will it happen, because you trust that it is already done. You release the struggle and step into the flow, knowing that the timing and manner of its arrival are perfect. Living as if it's already yours also frees you from the grip of fear and doubt. When you operate from the belief that your desire is already within you, there is no room for worry or hesitation. Fear stems from the perception of separation, from believing that what you want is far away or unattainable. But when you realize that everything you need is already within your reach, fear dissolves and confidence takes its place. This way of living is not about pretending or denying your current circumstances. It is about anchoring yourself in the truth of what you are creating. Your imagination is the foundation, and your feelings are the fuel. By consistently returning to the state of already having what you desire, you train your mind to accept it as reality, and reality responds in kind. Let go of the need to force or manipulate. Trust in the power of your imagination and the infinite intelligence that flows through all things. Live as if it's already yours, because it is. When you embrace this truth, the journey becomes joyful and the destination inevitable. The present moment is your greatest ally, your secret weapon in manifesting your desires and achieving detachment. It is only in the now that life truly happens, where your power resides and where creation begins. When you remain rooted in the present, you free yourself from the anxieties of the future and the regrets of the past. Detachment naturally arises from this state, because you are no longer driven by fear or impatience. Instead, you are anchored in trust, knowing that all good things come in their perfect time. When you focus on the future, yearning for your desires or worrying about their arrival, you create a sense of lack. Your attention drifts toward what you don't yet have, signaling to the universe that you are incomplete. The same is true when you dwell on the past, reliving mistakes or missed opportunities. Both states pull you away from the present moment, where your true creative power exists. The energy of detachment cannot coexist with the tension of longing or regret. In the present moment, you find peace. It is in this state of mindfulness that you connect with the infinite intelligence that governs all things. Here you realize that the process of manifestation is not about forcing outcomes but aligning with them. When you stay present, you no longer try to rush or control the unfolding of your desires. Instead, you trust the divine timing of the universe, a timing that is always perfect, even if it does not align with your immediate expectations. Divine timing is not a delay or a denial, it is the universe orchestrating everything to fall into place in the best possible way. Sometimes the things we desire require preparation, whether within us or in the external world. Trusting this timing means understanding that the universe sees the bigger picture. It knows when the right conditions are present for your desires to manifest in a way that serves your highest good. Staying rooted in the now allows you to relax into this trust, knowing that nothing is ever truly delayed. The present moment is also where gratitude blooms. When you focus on what you have right now, you shift your energy from lack to abundance. Gratitude amplifies this abundance, sending a powerful signal to the universe that you are ready to receive more. By appreciating the good in your life today, you create space for even greater blessings to flow toward you. This is not only the essence of detachment, but also the foundation of manifestation itself. Being present allows you to enjoy the journey rather than obsessing over the destination. Every moment holds its own beauty and lessons, yet these are often overlooked when we are consumed by the future. Detachment becomes easier when you learn to savor the now, trusting that each step is guiding you closer to your desires. In doing so, you transform impatience into patience and worry into faith. Letting go of attachment to outcomes does not mean giving up on your desires. It means trusting that they are already on their way. It means staying open to the infinite possibilities that can unfold when you release the need to know exactly how and when things will happen. The present moment is your bridge to this trust, a space where you can simply be, free from the burdens of control or expectation. When you stay rooted in the now, you align yourself with the flow of life. You embody detachment, not because you don't care, but because you know with absolute certainty that everything is working out for you. In this state, you are at peace, and in that peace, your desires come effortlessly. Trust the present moment. It is your secret weapon, your sanctuary, and your gateway to everything you seek. True power lies not in controlling the outer world, but in mastering your inner world. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs shape the reality you experience. The external world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting your internal state. When you focus on mastering your inner world, you gain the ability to transform your reality. What you release and refine within yourself manifests outwardly, often in ways more harmonious and profound than you could have imagined. Many people expend their energy trying to manipulate external circumstances, hoping that by rearranging the outer world they will find peace, happiness, or fulfillment. But this approach is like attempting to change your reflection in a mirror by altering the image on the surface rather than addressing the source. The true source of change is within. Your outer world is a projection of your inner world. And when you shift your inner state, the external naturally follows. Your thoughts are the seeds of creation. Every thought carries energy, and that energy shapes the events and circumstances in your life. Negative, fear-based thoughts create resistance and chaos, while thoughts rooted in love, trust, and abundance pave the way for peace and fulfillment. Mastering your thoughts does not mean suppressing them. It means becoming aware of them and consciously choosing which ones to nurture. The thoughts you water with attention will grow and shape your reality. Emotions amplify the energy of your thoughts. They are the fuel behind your manifestations. If your inner world is filled with anxiety, doubt, or frustration, these emotions send a signal of lack to the universe. However, if you cultivate feelings of gratitude, joy, and confidence, you align yourself with the energy of abundance and open the door for positive experiences to flow into your life. Mastering your emotions involves recognizing them without judgment and consciously choosing to elevate your emotional state. One of the most powerful aspects of mastering your inner world is the practice of letting go. Letting go does not mean giving up or resigning yourself to a life of inaction. It means releasing attachment to specific outcomes and trusting the flow of life. When you let go of fear, control, and resistance within, your outer world shifts to reflect this newfound clarity and ease. You stop chasing, struggling, and forcing, allowing the universe to work on your behalf. Letting go internally also creates space for new possibilities. Often our inner world is cluttered with limiting beliefs, unresolved emotions, and outdated patterns that no longer serve us. By releasing these, you make room for growth and transformation. This internal decluttering has a profound ripple effect as the outer world adjusts to mirror your renewed inner state. Mastering your inner world is not a one-time event, it is a daily practice. It requires awareness, discipline, and patience. Meditation, mindfulness, and affirmations are tools that can help you align your inner world with your highest intentions. When you consistently focus on maintaining a positive, empowered internal state, you set the stage for a life filled with abundance, peace, and joy. You cannot control every external circumstance, but you can always control your response to it. By mastering your inner world, you reclaim your power and become the conscious creator of your reality. When you shift your inner state, the outer world cannot help but follow. Trust in this process and watch as your life transforms from the inside out. In conclusion, the journey of detachment is not about giving up, but about stepping into your true power as the creator of your reality. It's about shifting your focus inward, trusting the process, and aligning with the energy of your desires. By mastering your thoughts and emotions, staying rooted in the present moment, and releasing attachment to outcomes, you create space for the universe to work effortlessly on your behalf. What you seek is not outside of you, it is within, waiting to be expressed and reflected in your external world. Live as if your desires are already yours. Trust that divine timing is perfect. And remember, letting go internally is the key to manifesting externally. Detachment is not indifference, it is the deepest trust in the unseen forces that are always working for your highest good. Thank you for taking this journey of reflection and growth. May these insights guide you to a life of ease, joy, and boundless abundance.